What's up, guys? It's G2 Jonah P, and I'm here to talk to you. I mean, it's always great to get a dub, but I definitely didn't appreciate my first match to be against PACIFIC, but I can't decide that. But overall, it's very exciting to play them, especially because of their playstyle, and we feel good to start our first match ever at Champs with a dub. I think our coaches did a pretty good job at preparing us for them. It definitely felt less individual plays and more team plays from them, so props to them for, trying to incorporate, W gaming and more structured gaming. So I think we just had a good read, a good flow on them the whole time. It started to get pretty close on Lotus, but, one clean round from us, and we knew it would be fine.
Now they maintain their control, slow the push from PACIFIC, send them in the other direction, but Jonah P waiting as usual on a sliver of HP, and he triples up!
The name Professor's definitely grown on me. I have an idea when we win for the whole champs, I'm gonna ask to get a Professor title in game. You never know, gotta shoot my shot. I think that would be cool. But yeah, I didn't really like the name Professor at the start, but seeing how much it's grown and seeing the whole community type it whenever I do something crazy, I've grown to love it, so it's great.
Welcome back, everyone. You heard Jonah P there in that Omen player moment talking about, the nicknames. You don't get to pick the nickname. The people bestow the nickname onto you. That is why he is the Professor. Absolutely love it. But wow, I mean, incredible stuff. Let me fix my headset for a second. Give me a hot minute there. We're in this, boys. We're back in it. We're back in.
6 map per day. Let's go.
It's a long
good,
day
honest Valorant today.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. But let's talk about what we saw on this one, man, because the talk of the town going into it, fellas, was the Yoru, right? And Achilles, you're seeing what they were getting with that value.
Yeah, and this was from the outset. I mean, granted, EDG were able to make things very competitive in the half, but G2, I really liked the game strategies we were seeing from them from the beginning. That Yoru ult comes through right there in round 4. Immediately Mask goes on. You chase 2 players out of that C site right into Leaf, who's just counter-taking that space in Garage. He's up in window, and it just lambs to the slaughter for him to go ahead and pick things apart, and the round just falls apart from there. So there's some very good stuff there from the side of G2. Obviously, EDG making this one incredibly competitive. It looking like we were going to be going to overtime for a little while, but right near the end, that economy just getting out of hand for the side of EDG. They just couldn't recover.
Yeah, and I think overall there were some weaknesses in G2's game plan, like where EDG was constantly putting pressure, especially with the Neon, on the extremities of the map. Long C, long A were really difficult for G2 at times here.
The flanks were nasty.
Yes, the flanks were great, and just their ability to control that space, using Kong Kong to kind of dash in and out, to get some op shots to whiff and things like that, really did cause G2 some trouble. However, their fundamentals came into check. They came back, they started having these great retakes. The Yoru ults were so amazing, like you're talking about. Every time it had a ton of impact, even if it was on a retake or if it was on just an info gathering mission. It really made it a lot more difficult for EDG to work the map the way they wanted.
Yeah, it felt like whenever they, had the opportunities to pop those ults, right, they were getting some kind of value. Hunter's Fury, Viper's Pit, they were finding that value wherever it was, available to them. Yeah, and they were able to pick up the dub there. But one player that we were really hoping to see come online in map 2 was Leaf, and he did just that. Yeah. Absolute turnaround that we saw from him on this one, Achilles.
Yeah, I mean, he went from fairly absent on the first map to just full-blown impact, being near the top of the standings there for the team. Yeah, that's right. His first map was so bad. He had 1.5.4 ADR, which is just abysmal, and also the ending of my IP address. But this was just a really good turnaround. But we kind of teed this up. Yeah. That slow start for G2, starting to get the understanding. This was not nearly as clean as some of the matches we were seeing from them in Shanghai, being able to pick up that second map win. But as we get ready to go into 5, we could still follow that trend of just slow start into this ramp up into domination.
Yeah, I do think G2's got something with that composition on Haven. I'm curious to see them continue to iterate and grow it. But now we set our sights to bind. I was actually talking to Sideshow about this before when he was reading the series layout to me. And I was like, I think this is a pretty strong one for G2. Like, no matter what, if they get the map 3, this is good for G2. And here we are, map 3. And Paperton, I mean, you kind of got to side a little bit with G2 on this one. They have a great track record on this map. They're very good at it. So, I don't know. I'm curious to see what the community thinks.
I'm with you. I felt that way going into Icebox, though. I felt like their fundamentals, their structure, would get them over the line against some of the quote-unquote messiness that, EDG brings. However, EDG had some good ideas to counter it. They were able to kick some doors in, find some opportune moments to catch G2 off guard. So G2 here, they play the standard bind comp, and they played it to perfection. They were undefeated in Stage 2, and America's on it. And they weren't just undefeated, they were destroying teams. I think the closest scoreline was like 13-8. Like, they are phenomenal at this map, but EDG also very, very good at this map. They switched up their comp very recently. They have the Fade in there now, so the biggest difference is going to be the initiators. It's going to be Fade versus Sky for both teams, so really curious to see if they can find ways to get some value with that Fade versus kind of that long, deep control that the Sky gives you.
I mean, they were able to get the win, you know, in that opening series here of the group stage on Bind. Yes, a little bit scrappy, but still a decent victory for the side of EDG, taking down Foot. So I'm curious to see how this one looks, because if they can level up their performance, if they can kind of get back into that magic that we were seeing from them on Icebox, where everybody was going, you know, fragging out of control, Smoggy, Kong, they're at the top of the standings, and then Simon and G2 creeping up in that second half. If they have that level of firepower behind them again here on Bind, they can close this out, but this is going to be the ultimate challenge. Icebox was a bit of an hors d'oeuvre as we get ready to go into this.
You know what, though? You get a situation here where G2 does have a lot of film, you know, on how they play this in officials. So there could be something that EDG could lean on potentially in their prep work. One would have to imagine, because you're damn well sure G2 prep for this one.
Yeah, I mean, EDG has been, so far this event, very, very good with their anti-stratting. I mean, Muggle's done a great job with this squad, getting them ready for what the other teams are going to bring, and you're absolutely right. I mean, it's something we saw in Icebox. It gave them grief because there was such a good read. You had already shown it once this event against PACIFIC. Like you said, tons of data on this bind for EDG to work with and try to take this strong map away from their opponents.
I mean, one player that we haven't touched on too much is Icy. We mentioned him there with the Euro, but he had a pretty good performance on that Icebox, carried that over into Haven. If he's going to continue on that level with this race, then G2 might just be set up for a victory. So Kong going to have to do that much more work to really try to outdo him.
Yeah, we're on the precipice of a massive, monumental achievement here for VCT China as a region, right? Going clean in the day with Trace moving forward, EDG potentially moving forward as well.
And with Trace doing that, they were the first Chinese team to be able to make it out of groups as a first seed. It's always kind of been that second position.
Yeah.
EDG might be able to match them. They can't beat them to that achievement, but they certainly can tie it up.
Yeah, but it's going to be a tough challenge for both teams, but it couldn't end any other way. Let's get ready for map 3 and send it over to your casters. Brendan, Sideshow, one final time.
We're going to be finding which way this series ends up landing as well. And, you know, best of threes. Typically, at this point as well, we're finding that map pools are getting tested as teams are getting pushed to the brink of them, which sounds odd to say, right? When there's only 3 maps played. Normally, you'd expect that to be reserved for best of 5s. But when you have all the maps being shifted and changed just before you go into champs, in before playoffs, not a lot of time to prep for, you end up with holes in your game plans and unexpected results when you reach that pinnacle, that third and final map in series.
And there's a really good reason why people talk about G2 having a little stumble or maybe starting slow and then closing out strong. The narrative is they drop the first map, second map is close, dominate the third map. You want to talk about the last 3 months, G2's win rate in third maps in a BO3. They're 6-0. They have not lost the third map of a BO3 in 3 months.
Yeah.
All year.
Sometimes narratives we spout, they are correct.
Yeah. All year, they're 8-3. It wasn't really a narrative that was around before May, but since then, I mean, the numbers, they speak for themselves. The more time you give G2 to warm up into a series, they do end up dominating towards the end. I'm not sure how much EDG are going to be thinking about that. Obviously, the teams just take it one map at a time, one round at a time. 100%. But if they VOD review and if they look back, that end of Haven was the opportunity. They need further opportunities, and they're going to have to do a lot of hard work to get those further opportunities on Bind.
Hard to push that out of your mind sometimes. Now, yeah, if you've got keen eyes, you can probably tell that we're solving an issue down on the stage. Quick audio issue. Hopefully it's just in-ears swapped in and out. Get that tested.
Yeah, I mean, it's Valen's in ears, and he's popping them back in right now. We're getting a nice deep look down his ear canal, aren't we?
Yeah, what's the magnification on that bad boy?
He's testing them out and seeing what's going on.
See all the details.
It is interesting thinking about audio. For our viewers perhaps that have never been and attended one of these events, they are much louder, bigger events than the ones where you play regionally. Even when these players play regionally, there are things that you will notice in your ranked games, little sounds that you can pick up that our pros sometimes can't, because of the roar of the crowd, or because of the white noise in their headsets that's used for competitive integrity reasons.
Yeah.
There are things that are different about this game on the big stage, more than just the pressure, the nerves.
I mean, for me, it's been the spike time at this event.
Yeah.
Been missing that one quite a bit.
Yeah, definitely seen some other moments where people have dropped down behind players and they haven't reacted.
Yeah.
It's not always a comms issue.
But we will be getting into this one here. For the beginning of Bind, our pistol round. Starting right at the beginning here, EDG versus G2. G2, no slouches on this map. They are dominant. Desk was kind of going through the details, picking apart the statistics. Early smoke in their face, though.
That fakes the fact that EDG are taking short control. We can see it's not the case.
G2 are right there behind it now. Up and over. Wingman going to be escorted in through the side. A bit of spam into the smoke makes Simon think twice. He could have potentially denied the plant there, but it's going to go down into the next.
That's really good work. Spam into that smoke stops the plant denial. This map, the A site, all about plant denial.
That just removes that crucial element of time. Lost bit util. Nate's going to be rebounding here just to try and get Icy out of there. Regaining control of lamps as well. Heading two for Nail. EDG Joe, they're going to be setting their sights now over towards the forward section. See if they can take the fight through with the flashes and heads are turning, facing away. G2 are dominating now every position. Leaving Chichu the last one left to do so much here, but Icy with a running gun shuts him down. Bullet to the brain for the pistol round win.
What a brilliant start for G2's duelist. 4 kills in the round, but not just any old kills. He was under a lot of utility pressure. Perfectly timed raise nade to keep back and keep Lamp's control. Came around swinging through smokes, confident the whole time. He's here to play. You get Icy online, and it turns G2 from being a team that's very scary, looking to make deep runs in tournaments. Actually, I think to potential tournament winners. Like, it makes that level of a bump increase for them. At the moment, of course, still being pressured hard by EDG. And we've seen with teams like Gen G and Fnatic losing that all of the heavy favorite Leviathan losing as well.
Oh, and they are fully aware. Simon was going to try and go for that cheeky play. Most of EDG playing in Spawn for this round as well to see if they could just react to the noise cues sent their way. Now here's the danger zone for EDG. G2 getting into positions as well with his ults being earned up. Icy's 3 away from his showstopper into this. They want to be hopefully empowering him, setting him up to try and get these kills. Trent's the one though, taking them all away. Leading it forwards here with a 3-piece, so flawless against the eco. Very little damage being done to them by EDG.
And like you pointed out, this is massively dangerous for EDG. The snowball is right on their doorstep. It's looking like an avalanche. Picking up so much pace and momentum as it comes down the mountain. It's looking like a Thrash, a showstopper, super early on. These are the rounds where if you lose them, if G2 are able to convert a bonus, you get that domination that we've been talking about sometimes happens for G2's previous games. Looking like Trent's going to be playing just to reinforce Icy's position to start with, but could play for an ult orb later on in the round.
A bonus round with potentially a bit of bite behind it.
I feel like we're actually noticing less and less teams go for that obvious run towards an ult orb at the start of the round. It's just too predictable for the defenders to think about. So you get rounds like this where there's a bit more of a default, no immediate lunge for that micro objective. And then they'll try to grab it later on or maybe even play for post plants. Of course, if Trent gets that spike down with Wingman, he'll have the Thrash as well.
And the Prowler pressure just connecting onto Leaf a little bit prior will keep a lot of these EDG players tethered to the spot over towards the A side here. Nobody looking for that info, just slight jiggle. Mosh now we utilize to try and push them back and away, but it's one less tool really to stall out potential attack. That's why Chichu's holding on to this. That's the second wave of things with the Boombot. Triggered out. Mosh pit now up and over Trent. That's incredible awareness, just knowing that Chichu was going to be placed up into that spot. With the Thrash earned from that kill, he wants to send this one flying forward. Stimmy. It's a very rapid shark indeed, clearing most of the way, but not clearing the pocket. But Simon spotted Icy plays off of least contact almost perfectly. Running through the smoke, Kang. Smoggy has made the most of this. It's a 3-piece for him, make it 4! And everybody falls from G2 in the blink of an eye.
That round sums up the kind of team play macro calling versus one individual. Who's going to win? Beautiful G2 calling, 5 people rotating around the map perfectly, or one little smoggy boy? It's Smoggy.
It definitely was in this instance. He has not slowed down, has he? That momentum, not just from the last 2 maps, the previous series as well.
No, but apart from trading out Smoggy, G2 played that round perfectly. I mean, the macro movement around the map was beautiful. Came up towards B long, got the opening kill, rotate through the teleport, huge pressure through showers, trade out the player pocket even. I don't think the G2 should be too disheartened by that. And they've done a little bit of economy damage. It's not a huge amount. Light armor on a couple, Bulldog on 1. It's a fairly even round here in round 4. But IC is 1 away from Showstopper. He's currently, though, the only player B long. Trying to work it on his own seems very dangerous.
Oh, that's an accidental TP. Kanga's just sidestepped backwards there, and he just landed that. He was supposed to be playing, or being played in at least by the jump spot, a bit of a bait and switch setup. Broken into pieces now. This is going to be used out through a short.
IC, I don't think has even realized how lucky he just got.
I mean, EDG potentially ready to pounce on him. And all because of that. I mean, Icy's picked up the orb. He's got his ult to repeat and reposition here from nobody. He wants to try and get that information. Surely you don't use a mosh pit. Surely you don't overheat. Man, you got to get out of there. Mosh still being held down. Chi2, this time he's the bait. Going to be trying to lock this down onto one of the angles here. There's a showstopper that is exchanged onto either side. As it's just a 1-for-1. They're going to be making the mass wraparound now over towards the A side. Still that crossfire. Holding it down for the back of the side. A bit of damage potentially done. Simon's here trying to play himself in once more. Taking a fight, but with the Bulldog in hand, he just can't land it. Takes a molly to the face, yet still Smoggy defends. Up and over. 12 seconds left. Orbital strike. It's all toppling now. And the spike has to be planted. Defense is necessary. Valen needs to be held. All the way through is the last one left. Swung through and out. Through the wall.
For all that Smoggy did in the prior round, Valen is there to answer. That round got so close. EDG with that accidental teleport, but they actually made a decent run of it still. Kankan found his value on the other side, going 1-for-1 with the raise. They were ready to fight. Why did they not swing Valen immediately as soon as they heard the plant go down? I don't understand that element of it. A bit of miscoordination there between, I believe it was Chishu and Smoggy, the last 2 players alive.
Here. EDG's money sent toppling back down to the weaker by G2 again. That's that danger. This composition.
And if you think back, EDG were trying to set up that trap play B long, but they failed. And so G2 have just found this area of the map for free, basically every round. The one round where they should have been contested, the execution was fumbled. Now, B-long control, ult up taken, Seeker's out.
Here comes the snowball, potentially, but the kill's going whiffy all over the place there. Icy has to retreat inside the smoke. He's been locked out. The rest of his team can't quite get themselves through this one. Anchoring smokes, placed down. Chi2's landed it, but eventually cleaned up. The rest of his team, though, needs to be aware of the fact that nobody could be creeping forwards into this one, yes. With the spike planted, Icy makes sure his rifle well trained onto that spot here, so the retake from Simon and Smoggy unlikely to come out with the goods.
Trent, by the way, 2 away from his second thrash. We're only in round 5.
It's just insane. If you get the ball rolling with this composition, you cannot be stopped. You can just keep snowballing it. Ult orbs into plants, and then ults themselves into the XX. Very difficult to stop.
And look at that. Trent comes in to steal the kill. That's perfect. Gets another one.
Leaf's baiting it. Leaf's baiting it.
Yeah.
He's trying to get Trent to kill here. This is just min-maxing to the utmost, but okay, eventually puts Simon out of his misery. That's a 4-1 now. Into the round differential here for G2.
And EDG can't figure out these timings of when they need to be fighting over certain areas of the map. Of course, that was just the eco round. But they're going to take a tack timeout to discuss this defensive strategy. Generally speaking, it's not working. I know that they had a close round there. Came down to Valen against against Smoggy. And Smoggy, of course, with that fantastic round where he gets a 4K. But these are rounds built on more of the individual than they are of the game plan, the macro, the team. these things that are going to be more consistent. EDG, though, are also getting close to their first big ult cycle. One away from Pit, one away from Showstopper. Being one away from Pit, though, sucks. Because you're thinking about, well, I'd love it for this round. This is the round where we actually have rifles.
No way to get it.
No, I mean, what are you going to do? The Viper pushes showers to get the ult orb and then hits. It just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
They could, however, do something similar with Kong. They could try to double fight over showers. A strategy that we see quite a lot of teams go for.
Yeah.
See if you can catch Jonah P, because he's normally the attacking player that defaults in that area. If they're doing an A-leaning default.
EDG spotting same kind of weaknesses, I think, as well when I was doing a lot of the quadruple prep. Legwork heading in, their bind composition when they get ahead of themselves, I think, with the B defense. What I'm noticing as well, a lot of teams, I think, when they catch contact on B-long seeing players, they'll save the mosh pit. They won't end up using it. They'll just back away. Getting the information is good enough, but you're seeing nobody just kind of rush into things. He uses the mosh pit early, and it leaves him with one less molly to use to try and stall out an exec that might be occurring.
Another big thing is that Chishu is always throwing his Viper Orb over towards A. He's not using it for B-long. So they kind of need that mosh, or at least they feel like they do.
Otherwise the pressure's too overwhelming. Now they've at least offset it here with a deep smoke. So he's going to drop that one down defensively.
And they're trying to get good information on both edges of the map, where both the ult orbs are. But I feel like Simon's getting baited in here. G2 deliberately giving him bad information. Wall up, they're expecting some kind of push. G2 looking to control that. Trent doesn't need the ult orb, remember. A post-plant thrash would also be great if Wingman can plant.
G2 now grouping up, looking like they want to set themselves up into the exec.
Kong is the player to watch. He's got nade for plant denial. He's got ult for plant denial, or a kill.
Full piece of kit here. Flashed up though, blinded. Nade's going to be rebounding, ricocheting. Here's the ult showstopper. Back wall, but no targets and no casualty. As a result, through the wall, spam down. Haunt reveals up onto Leaf, putting that pressure down. Vulnerable is excellent and good, but he still needs some extra elements to help him out entirely. He is being pressured, overwhelmed, taken out. Coverage there from the lamp position, but EDG have control of showers, and now calling for the evacuation. Trendo not so lucky. Will be dropped from behind. And Chichu was saving this one. A snakebite for a rainy day with the wall still up. Bullets are excellent. Damage through the wall. Taking those timings, but he can hear it. Scuttling, scurrying across the sand. Icy wins that fight. Jonah P covering it all. You cannot be squandering this. No way. Simon will close it out anyway.
So many of these rounds are coming down to fine margins. That is not one of them that I thought would go like that. EDG looked utterly in control. And they do close it out. Credit to Simon. Newer player stepping up, his first time on the big stage. Still delivering. But he had to go and play that one a little silly, didn't he? To put the pressure on the Leaf so that they could focus elsewhere. You see Chishu's reaction. EDG, though, one of the reasons that that round worked is they got the plant denial working on A. They had nade, they had the molly actually coming out from Smoggy. Smoggy hasn't even bought molly this round.
Yeah, not quite. It's a thrash to use. Clears the way, paves the way in for an A exec. Orb up 2 alongside that. I mean, Showers has been fully disrespected. Sees SUPERNOVA. Man, not worried about that one, but a nade. Icy's got to be concerned. Satchel and around. Bit of bungee cord in play. Will survive. And the plant's down crucially here for G2 now, but the second wave of things ready. Prime. Simon scatters it. Forwards now with a Nightfall. Thrash wave 2. All to push them back and away. It's a cacophony of util. The mosh pit of nobody that gets that first kill. Advantage, Leaf damage done again through the wall. The pit to just try and play EDG right back into this one again, but the bodies are toppling. Players are falling. EDG cannot hold a candle right now to the rifle play and work right through Leaf. Even with the pressure, he's overcoming it all, and they all are falling. G2, a chokehold onto that A post plant, not letting EDG in.
No plant denial for EDG. No showers control for the Chinese squad either. And so G2 are just able to run in down short, have perfect post-plant positioning. Valen sat back with a molly, one away from the orbital strike. I mean, how are these players supposed to retake when they don't have a stable area with which to play from? Oh,
yeah,
and that is a bit lucky, I think.
Finesse, bro. My movement is giving them...
Okay.
I was waiting to see if we caught the thing that his movement was giving them.
A lot of trouble, I think. Couldn't clear him out of that corner. Walkabouts for Chi-Chu. This guy, he's a demon with the Sheriff in his hand, especially when Kangkang's there to help him out right from the side. Shot fired. This will force potentially a pace increase out from G2, but instead, again, they cut the noise. Bit of discipline here. Just the slightest of pause, enough for them to full rotate out through the TP. Seekers as well. Leads it to an open sight. And already push it in through the spawn, I see. He's taking liberties with it. Kangkang's a danger man with that rifle in play, and with him toppled and dropped. No more towards it. One now for the ace. Simon is miles away.
I don't think Icy's getting this one, although if Simon did go through showers, you'd have to cut out the middle to make a clip out of it, wouldn't you? But, but certainly a different energy in here for G2. And mirroring a lot of their previous rounds. Here it comes.
Yeah, will we see it? And ticking away. Simon's cutting it up close. He denies. It's a funny moment.
Not funny for Simon. Not funny for EDG. As every round ticks up for G2. There'll be a little voice in the back of their heads thinking, should have closed it out on Haven. Yeah. Had the chances on Haven.
The missed opportunities.
Could have been a 2-0. I mean, look at the aggression that they're going for here. This is how you get into spots where G2 steamroll on map 3s. 6-0 in the last 3 months when it comes to the final map of a BO3. Icy has run away with it. He's 13-5. And like we were talking about, the ult cycle has never stopped. No. It's a runaway train.
Just keeps generating, man. Perpetual motion machine.
I've seen those on TikTok.
Flash satchel clear. Can hear the util being pulled out. It's Chi-Chu and nobody already using their mollies. G2 don't want any part of it though. Instead now moving over towards the A site. Feeling content that they may have just pulled rotations away from that area. Showers now, that deep push. Icy with a showstopper. Looks to potentially open up the round. Opposite of the namesake. Through the smoke. And Smoggy is no more. Leaf potentially hearing that sound cue and calling for it. Yep. All the noise being made. Opened up Simon. Back to the world. And at this point, EDG, gotta save these rifles. There's no more money left to play with.
But also EDG looking like they don't have a plan. And honestly running out of a bit of hope as well. You can tell in the way that G2 are playing, they know they've got this.
Yeah.
They can feel the wind coming towards them. They're outplaying EDG, running circles around them. I mean, again here with Jonah P's positioning, but nobody comes out on top. We need to see something, maybe from an individual, like Smoggy's 4K earlier, that re-energizes EDG and gets them back into the game. Either that, or some kind of tack timeout to get a strategic change on things. They just haven't been able to stop the plants from going down. It feels like G2 are constantly in these spots where EDG are backpedaling and having to make, you know, solo plays like here where Simon just gets caught alone in showers.
More smiles on the G2 players. I mean, you could feel it. The vibes were taking a turn even in some of the replays we were looking at towards the end of Haven. You wouldn't think that's a team being pressured. The potential of losing the series, but now you can see why, taking it one round at a time. It's worked out nicely, and EDG, there's no timeout called. Maybe they're the ones talking it through in that short amount of time as well to try and cook up something here with a stimmy. Satchel flash as well, sets up Icy.
Good nade.
Nicely, and a nade is nice.
Sees.
There's a little bit off the mark though, no connection for it. Leaf was low.
If Trent gets inside Thrash or Jonah P gets inside the dog, there is a Brimble on the other side.
Contact refight, I want to get ahead of most of this already, but do they have the weapons for the job? Nobody. Not long for this world. Can't survive in the middle of it, but it isn't a cheeky play. And a nice one, just to try and call that one up and cut up the timings that G2 were trying to take. At this point though, again choked out.
Another round that they basically have no chance in. It would take something momentous from Kangkang. He's found a timing.
He slipped past. Leaf is down, and so is the pit, but Valen's immediately there to respond in through the back of the site. Leave it just down to Simon. It's been good for the clutches in the past. Newcomer to the roster. This is too much to do. Sheriff in hand. It'd have to be An improbable and impossible play. And he knows it.
Where are you?
Haunt over. Doesn't even spot him. Doubled up. Discipline. 1 HP and a dream, but it's an 8th round for G2.
And a nightmare for EDG. If we get some of that aggression, though, coming out from them when they have rifles in hand, ults to work with, maybe that'll end up being the key. They did find quite a nice timing there. I'm not sure that G2 were ready for that timing necessarily, but without rifles in the hands of Edward Gaming, the G2 players were just able to react in that spot and win the fights anyway.
Dude, sorry, Nate. I actually don't know how, bro.
Okay, Jacob's 15-5.
And that is so true. Icy taking over, 15-5. It's easy to play when you've got a star player putting out performances like that. And we were expecting it from the other side on COEX.
Is this the adjustment that EDG are going for? Any signs of the util as a C's being held? COEX's there with a showstopper.
Anytime you have ults like this and there's a deep smoke, it also looks like a sand crunch. So, as Valen's reading into this round, he's thinking short's dangerous, sand's dangerous.
Waits it out low. Prowler catches it. Trailblazer alongside the boombot. It's a C's and a nade. Again, at least the C's was good, but the nade just a little bit too deep. Banks it off to the side now. Reposition from EDG. They want to try and take up that shower's control. COEX still there. Has the ult waiting at the minute mark, but there's no signs from G2. They want to take the TP pivot. The spike was already leaning over towards his B direction, and a lot is asked of him. Orbital strike through the back. He does land the kill. Needs to lock down his position, though. In and out through. Find space for the rest of his team. Mosh Pit's going to be landing with 40 seconds left into the round. Full side control.
Thrash has already been picked up, right? Trent, I think, has it.
30
Yeah, there it is.
left.
Yeah. So this is going to be the repop.
Wait for the second wave now. Straight through, up and over, not broken, but the timing taken across it. It's rifles in hand. Nobody in Chichu to try and put a stop to all of this. COEX through the TP, might have touched down enough still. 15 seconds, nobody not clear, but eventually is. 12 left, time is of the essence. G2, they stretch it to the finest of details. And Simon again,
Spike planted.
asked to do so damn much. No crossfire setup, but you know, as soon as Valen has taken that contact, the swing will be there from Trent. It has to be a miracle. It will not be the case. A 9th round for G2.
It's amazing the way that G2 are able to recover these situations. EDG had a stack on the B site. The Thrash found nothing. COEX is coming through behind them with a showstopper as well.
Can't believe it.
Valen's kill, when he comes back through, this one here, onto nobody, absolutely crucial. If they get locked out at the choke point there, if that solo player B long is not able to find that value, EDG have won the round.
Stay focused on us. Make the...
Double operator coming out for G2 here on the attack side, just hoping that EDG overstep themselves, get desperate, and they have. Yeah, immediately.
Straight into the trap. Leaf is there waiting. Thrash to try and set up some sort of crunch in through the angles. Horn's going to be revealed. Leaf squares up to it, takes the challenge. Trailblazer forwards, but way ahead of it. Jonah P had no one else to play off of here. EDG might have at least carved their way a path back into this round. Thrash round 2, Chichu with the push. It's all put in the squeeze onto these G2 players into a 2v3. Chaos sowed. It's not over yet. The job's not finished. Hearing all sorts of sound and heads. Not expecting it. Icy frying them.
He's made this incredibly winnable.
Chichu dropped down to just 5 out. 50 seconds left. The footsteps are heard. It's a game with those timings down. Just what I said earlier, the finer moments of the round now. Will he catch it right from behind? The answer is yes. So, a consolation round. EDG, they get the 3rd one there. To finish up the half, potentially enough. But listen, it'd have to be a hell of a comeback mounted.
Desk was looking at their bingo card earlier on. They had a 9-3 curse in there, but G2 have just looked so heavily in control.
It'll be a hard ask indeed. We'll find out on the other side of this.
있는 친구보다 밖에 남자답게 You fight, you wanna fight 내 거 넌 보면 넌 뒤져 나 작게 보여도 피하지 않아 ice 16 bars 그철낸 김바요 나 해본 바로 못해 인기가요 내 태도 motherfucker I'm all like motherfucker 어쩔 다 move motherfucker 7 knocking on heaven 피우 대신 치우 가끔 치우 대신 피우고로 배분 Hey 씨발 씹스터도 웃겨 이 파까 입은 달라 이 씨발 알고 말해라 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Hey, 하나 둘 셋 넷 다섯 여섯 일곱 Hey, 하나 둘 셋 넷 다섯 여섯 일곱
G2, a 9-3 scoreline sets them up beautifully for the wrap up, the finish here into the series as well. Against EDG, don't get me wrong, they've been tested, pushed to the brink, but it's all about how you finish and bind here. I mean, G2 looking unstoppable right now.
Think about this tournament overall. Gen G, favorites, ended up losing in groups. They're not out yet, of course, but lost. Fnatic, in my opinion, second favorites. They've also lost. I would have Heretics. Many of the community had Leviathan in that kind of spot, and also G2. A lot of these teams have looked shaky, and yes, G2 are getting pushed in these maps. But if this one ends dominantly, you gotta have your eyes on this squad as another one of those potential candidates to lift the trophy later on, to go on some kind of run.
That's the crazy thing about these big events, especially champs, where it all culminates at the end of the year. I mean, G2, you can't exactly call them unlikely, or a dark horse, I would say, to potentially get that trophy, because they have been good in their own region.
And they were excellent in Shanghai too. They only ended up losing to those finalists. Let's see if EDG can get a pistol and make this one a game.
Grouped up now with a Dizzy, and the Haunt not being broken. Already Icy rebounds that nade. As soon as he hears the wingman, that will be the plant denied. From the plant, see if they've got a second wave of things here, or if EDG just want to evacuate. Grouped up, hesitation in their step, and now going to be making their moves over towards the B site. Should be open for the taking. Leaf gives up a lot of this space onto the off angle. Chichu just wanders right into it. Happy to take that fight now, but G2 not willing to slow down, but not anticipating the full wraparound.
Beautiful round from Chichu.
Spike planted.
Leaf was even anticipating that there was a lurk happening over there. Pretty rare that EDG would be going through the teleporter without having some info on the B side of the map. The crosshair placement was not there, and Chichu cleaned up. Crispy round, lovely ghost aim. Now EDG are gonna have to win plenty of rounds here and start a serious ult cycle to get back into this one. Have to showcase us that their attack is a lot better than their defense. But that's the first step. I think it would also have to come with somebody like Icy cooling off.
Yeah.
And individuals on EDG stepping up. Felt like at the beginning on Icebox, it was all those EDG players coming up with the big rounds, the 2Ks, the multi-kills.
And never being shut down for it.
Haven't really seen that.
No. G2 making the most out of the round, just trying to squeeze out every little efficiency. Deny the orbs. Oh, Trent's lucky to be alive.
The goal in rounds like this, just stack as many ult orbs on your players as you can, and then see if you can deny them on the other side too.
Yeah, definitely. Chichu is alone one taking that fight, even with the better weaponry. So the 1v2 in the favor of G2, even with Valen down to the single digits. Go button's called. Hard clear into the corner, just the shoulder peeking. And you're right. All the goals for the eco here of G2, just deny at the orbs.
I think they've done a good job. You're looking at the ults that are most likely to come online for EDG that could potentially start a comeback happening, and it's Thrash. That's the one that I always look at first. You just get it up so quickly. You're trading people out, you're getting spike plants all the time. You can go and pick up the ult orbs too while Wingman's planting. Generally, that Gecko ult is coming online super early. And nobody's not even halfway there yet.
One enemy remaining.
Simon. That's a read.
He was so confident.
Okay.
Team Ace.
Really the only thing going wrong here for the EG in that round. They didn't quite get the ult orbs that potentially they were looking for. To again get that war machine chugging like G2 managed to do on their own attack. But it's all good. Keep the rounds going one step at a time.
Yeah, it won't matter if EDG can find an individual to step up in this and carry them over the line. You know, somebody like COEX, who has the only real rifle out of the group. If he comes in here and hits some blinding entries, this is going to be a fight on showers. He's got his opportunity.
I want to go for this one. Valen, early smoke drop down. EDG are holding the util here. There's a nade, it's a prowler, it's all pressed forwards here. Now Icy is going to get squeezed with the stimmy in play as well. I mean, close range weaponry at short work onto the hold. G2 going to find this one a bit of a struggle. Mosh sent preemptively. I was trying to break that wingman. He's worried about the spacing and positioning. He's already lost track of most of this one. But with the horn broken, spam through the box as well. He's still alive for God knows what reason, but eventually cleaned up. Bonus round for EDG. Looking converted, looking good. Nobody sticking a plan, prioritizing to try and get his ult online. Jonah P off from the flank now. Player positioning of these EDG a little bit separated. He's going to try and play that one together, and Smoggy will just isolate the fight himself, take matters into his own hands. So these are exactly the type of steps that you need to see EDG taking if they want to try and even up the scoreline.
Yeah, if there was a path to a comeback, we're watching it. The run through with the stim beacon, and the sting ended up being massively important there. I was putting the attention on the COEX, but he got traded out. Double kill for Simon. They death balled up, ran through showers, and Trent's positioning towards the back of triple, it was riddled with bullets.
No safe place to stand. It forces the timeout out of G2. Maybe a glimpse really into, there's not too much again you can read into tactics. We're only 3 rounds in onto the half.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can make some small read in terms of how grouped up they were on that side of the map. I think that was 4 players running through shower there.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty unusual way of playing. Possible that Josh RT wants his team to, pull back a bit, give showers control, play for plant denial, that kind of thing. When you watch the way that nobody uses his wingman, I mean, they took showers and he just sent little bro in on the wild escapade
a solo
towards
mission.
default.
Yeah.
Stuff like that can really mess up a round if you're thinking about post-plant positioning before plant goes down on buy. So there are some small things that they could maybe be reading into. And I don't mind an early timeout in this position where you're ahead and you're trying to stop the comeback from happening. Because the earlier you nip it in the bud, the quicker you stop big things from snowballing out of control. And again, eyes, attention onto the Gecko ult. Is this a showers crunch? It doesn't look like it.
No one on the receiving end. Yeah, G2, normally you want to play to try and break this haunt.
Yeah, they're just looking to get the orbital strike online. Again, looking for plant denial. I think that's going to be so key here to the way that G2 are playing their defense. It's key for every team, of course, but it seems like we're going to see G2 try to play a more passive look to the defending side. Focus on putting EDG in bad spots.
EDG going to be creeping and crawling now over towards this B site. B's up close here, wants to try and take that fight. Bullets, lay it down. Not enough for the kill though.
A lot of damage.
It is a lot of damage. Soften them up for Trent, but question is, can he do much with it? Just playing, peeking out of the smoke here. Found himself corner window of opportunity. EDG want to go over towards the A site now. There's no players there yet. But
Leaf could easily take a timing through this Viper orb.
Not just that, I mean, he's got a, if there's signs of life from EDG, if they just try and go fast off of this one, he has his own molly to try and slow them down. A snake bite in the back pocket. And Icy's now there with an aid. This looks like it has some danger to it, I'm not going to lie. There's a snake bite. Slowing down the approach. It's the weakest players who are first through. They're trying to take that point of contact. COEX really separated from his team now. And weaving in and out. It's just spraying and praying away. Rewarded though. Coming up with the goods. Coverage has to be there, and it finally is. Valen shut down as he seeks to deny that plant.
Nade was strong though. Brought Shishu down to 33 health. And here comes a flank. This kill, so important.
Goes ahead. Patience, patience, patience play! Trent barely there. Grabs the kill in the end. And all this sound and pressure is being made as well. Simon doesn't know which way to look. Satchel's through and plays him in! It's disaster for EDG. And Smoggy is the one who now has to pick up the pieces. 1v2. Time played, time ticking. Smoggy's out wide. A tap, a stick, coverage. Trent lands it! With a bullet to the dome. It's an upset round in the making. Completed fully. Thrifty win to get that 10 for G2.
And doesn't Trent know it? Feeding into the crowd there, knowing that they've just pulled off a huge one to stop that momentum. You could see that disaster occurring in slow motion. The weak players, like you mentioned, going in first, getting hit with the vulnerable as well. Leaf barely had to peek, and he caught that first kill. Onto nobody.
MasterCard Thrifty pushed G2 right back into it.
Look at this death ball from EDG. Nobody watching Sand, nobody watching Fountain. All 5 players grouped up on A to go for a slightly delayed A execute.
That complete intent. Try and get this plant down now. It's overwhelming with the ults. Icy's avoided most of this though. Tucked safely. Up in the smoke. Underhanded with the nade again. This is going to be denying the plant surely. Nobody. No way. Wingman survives. In through the back of the site though. That is overzealous by Kang. There was that punish in sight. Thrash through and out. Detain. Even now Simon. He's pulled it back out of nowhere.
Simon?
Gotta see that one again somehow, somewhere. What was looking so damn dangerous. Leaf now not offered much in terms of opportunities. Spraying right through the wall. Simon finishes it with the secondary shorty.
Hidden gem for the EDG team.
Gotta see that.
He pushes through by the look of things and just swings back sight and deletes 3 of them. But he seems like it was very unexpected. Take a look at this in the replay. As they're focused on retaking lamps, and he gets Trent in the back.
Beautiful.
Valen, Jonah P, not there to deny.
Yeah. The target priority too. Doesn't get flustered, doesn't get overwhelmed there when he sees 4 players. Picks them off.
Now at the top of the scoreboard for EDG, but still 3 behind. And last time, they bungled it on the anti-eco. They can't do that again.
There's no pushback from EDG. They're not going for any stimmy plays off the rip to try and punish these orb pickups.
No, G2, despite losing the majority of the rounds in this half, have actually been blow for blow with ult.
Toxin screen down.
Basically because of what you're talking about, that ult prioritization.
I don't like that. If you are EDG, you kind of need every advantage you can get if you're going to make this come back to the actual reality.
Trent is the one player with the rifle, looking to try to take contact against nobody, against Simon. The 2 initiators who are down to fight, down to scrap.
Played Leaf in. He's for the judge. Mosh now as soon as they hear this boom bot. Nade again through, that's a TP though. EDG trying to, oh, Jonah P, you are right there behind them, but again, this util into the back pocket of G2. Surely this doesn't happen again. Ring around the roses, they're running away up through A short once more. They can't take the TP once more, surely not. Running them down, classics in hand. Can really just try and stave away and play a bit of patience into the round here by G2. The plant is tapped from behind, it's wrapped. The players are being picked to pieces. Nobody gets that plant down. At least they do have that extension, but they've lost all semblance of map control here and given up guns in the process. Doubled up with the rifles, swinging through. It's Leaf who trades it onto Simon. Slow down once more. Fight. And a bullet. Just through the wall there. Leaf will survive. Trent walking in. The barrel betrays him. Nobody's down, and it's given an opportunity. In for the 1v1. Adjustment not there. Snapped into the side. The wingman not being used. For the defuse. Trent goes down to Smoggy, and EDG are still alive.
I learned something.
These anti-eco rounds are so unbelievably close, and some of them, you know, like we saw earlier, going across the line. Smoggy's the savior there for EDG in the final moment. There was another bullet that got dodged there for EDG as well. Had Valen been able to stay alive for but a moment longer, he had orbital strike to try to deny plant. I mean, the way that EDG are celebrating here, You don't celebrate like that usually for winning an anti-eco. That shows you how close the scoreline is and how much they want to get to playoffs right here, right now. They need another 5.
It's operator v operator. Investments from both teams.
Icey's pretty far away from the action, though. Smoke's down. Last time G2 double fought over showers, it did not go well.
Valorant's got to be aware of that fact. Bursted through from the contact plays of EDG. Nobody is there alone, though. This time, not too much more players alongside him.
This is one of those rounds, too, where you cannot afford to let Smoggy get into post-plan. He's got Molly, he's got Orbital Strike. Too difficult.
Might already be getting dangerous. EDG trying to feign and pull players out over towards B with the pressure. Simon's there, but he's just one man. I mean, it just feels so fake that they already offload the Seekers. G2 get full awareness now. There's no hiding this intent of this EDG squad. They want to land over towards the A site. Pivot options might be there if they try and take the showers TP, but Leaf is also going to be waiting. Mosh is down a tap to pull the util out again, but the timing caught with Leaf. Bullet to the back. Simon is dropped, Pit is earned, and finally played the TP to no avail. And you got to scurry, you got to run away now.
The Brimelt is just going to close this out. They've got absolutely no chance of getting the plant down.
Just not enough done preemptively to pull all this util out. It will take miracles, but again, like you said, Orbital Strike, primed, ready, nobody pushed back. 7 seconds, 6, down to 5, 4. There needs to be a plan online, but the time is lost against them. EDG, no more chances, no more opportunities. An 11th round, concatenated up now by G2.
Close and closer to closing out this match. G2 have weathered the storm on Haven, are currently weathering a comeback on Bind after a 9-3 half, but EDG forced to take the tag timeout. They just got outplayed here. That lurk, which was supposed to be their plan B, completely getting shut off by Leaf.
See,
the timing around his Viper Orb, lovely.
Not enough to sell it. Just Simon alone, who's just dumping his util over to the one side to see if they can open up A.
EDG have actually managed to get themselves an ult advantage now, but they're 3 rounds behind and 2 losses away from having to drop down to that lower bracket of their group. G2 have burnt some big ults that are good for plant denial. I mean, the Orbital Strike being the big one. It was a great investment from Valen, absolutely secured them the round, but they can't sit back as passively, and they also can't be burning up their utility early on too. Valen used his molly early in the round there because he knew he could always rely on his ult to plant deny. And now you've got to try to save stuff like that. And Icy, I think, is going to be particularly important if G2 want to close. He's got to find himself in the right place because he can't rotate around as much. He's got the op in his hand, and he needs to be there to stop any push from EDG, that showstopper. Got to find value.
Has to be posted up.
I think EDG, it is more important than ever to dodge this op. Follow the utility that doesn't get broken. Try to push through smokes because he's not going to be opping behind a big smoke.
He might be running straight into it. Leaf committing his own orb here. Be used to cut up any sort of aggression in through and out of Hookah. Sees it, signs of life as well. The Haunt, at least the Prowler, I should say. Excuse me, shot missed. Orbital Strike out and around here. Icy with the rocket. No way! Insanity with the movement. Kang. He's dodged and ducked and weaved. The fast play from G2 will be punished with a molly at the feet. Cooking them alive in the process, but the rifles are the one to claim the day. Simon delivers all that damage. Valen, too much to overcome. A rapid play by EDG.
Lovely punish as well. You know that the operator is not going to be in that spot. You've just heard the Viper Orb go down at the beginning of the round. And not just that, Leaf beefed his movement. I mean, if Leaf manages to jump out of Hookah there backwards and get that snakebite off, maybe this could be different. Maybe Kankan could have been shut down on the route out. As it was, you make one mistake, the whole house of cards falls down. That's what Valorant's like at this level. And G2, that mistake has now caused them to be on an eco. A 4-stack over towards B, exact opposite side that EDG are going for. This is looking like the gap might close to 1.
A lot of presence now and pressure. It's applied over towards the A site. G2 have been good at least denying some portion of this one when they're on the right ecos, but the players are not in the right places at the right times. Icy is definitely going to be falling here. Satchels, bullets flying his way. Ult's even committed here.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that.
Yeah, nobody feeling like he has to use it to try and clean up most of this round. Maybe just evidence, I think, of the frantic nature that EDG are operating under. It should be cleaned up, should be. Carrying a lot of weight. Valindo isolated into this spot. Tries to pre-fire it into the corner. And Rifle bouncing and hopping up in place. Simon once more puts a close to that round. EDG, they are crawling closer to equalizing, at least in this map.
The lead is looking very rough here for G2. On a nice edge, only one round separating these two teams. But EDG, I think a little timorous there in terms of how they use their ults. I think you needed to save those for some big rifle rounds that are coming up. Burning them on the anti-eco when you'd already got the plant down. G2 are going to take attack timeout, so EDG have some time to think about this, but I think that's a bit of a waste personally. EDG losing a potential ace up their sleeve that could have been so helpful in these final few rounds.
But for now, their eyes are set on the path ahead here. They forced G2 to take this tag timeout, forcing G2 to come up with the answers. Despite how close some of these eco rounds have been, G2's money has just been getting knocked down consistently. Lunch money stolen, shoved into a locker.
It's been the new kid, Simon, who's been doing a lot of the shoving. Just moved to this school.
God, he's a quarterback too. The size of him.
22 and 13. A player brought in, looking to add a bit of firepower, a bit of a different skill set to EDG, moving the calling over to nobody. And it's working. It has breathed new life into EDG. They are close, so close to pulling off this comeback. It was 9-3 at the half. You can see it on your screens. Only 2 rounds gained for G2.
Now, ooh, that's a horn that goes amiss. Supposed to clear out through the top section of B long. Bit more uncertainty now into the step of EDG. 2 players spotted there. Trailblazer, G2 getting some good information.
Simon's got to be cautious here. There is a possibility that a Thrash could end up coming through the teleport. You see that G2 are looking to clear out short. Here comes that Thrash.
Yep, re-clear. Detainment catches onto him, but again, there's that reinforcement arriving. EDG, they want to try and put a stop to this one. Nade around IC! He won't be denied! The line is drawn in the sand! And any sort of challenge, he will swat you away.
What a beast! G2's going to try to make the difference on the other side of the map. He's found this lurk timing, just as G2 have backed off. Could this be the moment? Could they maybe try to turn this 2v5?
It's a sound bait. Valen's holding. Valen's holding, but still loses the fight. Jumping around, that's a pit into the spawn. Trying to grant him a bit of that space and luxuries, even if they can get into the A side. 2 versus 4 still here for EDG.
The double push coming out from Leaf and Icy is going to be fast onto this. They've planted, not for the pit, not for backside, but exactly for the flank.
Moshpit's going to be delayed here. They have planted for that flank occurring, this fight. Contact plays, shoulder to shoulder. They split themselves up. Smoggy is alone and isolated. All comes down to this timing. Does he win this fight out? Can he make it a possibility? Across their placement, not ideal. And Icy, one more for the ace, denied from that, yet still the damage has been done. Chichu, it's a 1v3, no util left to his name. The defuse already tapped, stuck all the way. G2, the 12th round is earned, it's under their belt, and now one more step is all they need to take.
It's a beautiful setup, the G2 run. You saw that happening live. Boombot comes out, smoke, just to give Icy this space. He's not even that great with the first spray onto nobody, but then the readjustment shakes himself off, and every shot after that was perfection.
You are insane!
He's playing incredibly right now. Definitely one of Icy's best games at a time when G2 needed it desperately. If this was Icy putting up even his normal performance, EDG would probably have already won this map. They have needed their duelist to become a star.
He stepped up to it. As you've already mentioned, 22 kills. Not the current kill leader. Simon holds that title, but matters not if you end up losing the series. If you end up losing this map. And on the precipice now, G2. It's a stalwart hold. The defensive setup. IC's primed and ready.
Kangkang is going to pick up the ult orb here. If we see nobody bringing the spike back over towards A, then G2's read on this might end up paying dividends. Okay, Kangkang retreats. IC's in a spot where he could have got one, popped his ult, and absolutely ruined an execute from Showers. EDG may not even realize it, but they've just dodged a massive bullet here by making the swap over towards B. Trent runs over, trying to reinforce the site. They've realized at this point, it's probably where EDG are ending.
It's going to be needed. Exactly right here with 30 seconds onto the clock. This is do or die for EDG. It all lands onto this, and it has to pay off massively. Molly's rebounding off to the side, but Jonah P not caught out still. It's played in to perfection here with the satchels in play. Nobody. Plant's going to be stuck swinging a wide leave with two out through the hookah. G2 denies, and IC is left to do the most in this spot in a 1v3. No side control, very little information, just a nade to work with, spotting the jiggle peak. Jumping from nobody. And does IC want to make a go of it?
I think he needs the weapon. Take a look at the credits here. 50 for Valen, 450 for Jonah P.
Yeah, as tempting as it is for IC to take that fight, earn up the ult for the next. Playing the long con.
And you're right, it is possible that having the ult online may end up making more of a difference in round 24. But we can't know that.
I mean,
played for the weaponry.
This is just insane.
The Stim Beacon double blast pack from Kangkang absolutely broke Jonah P's wrist as he tried to keep track of what was going on there. Kangkang flew past him like a bullet train. He was just gone.
Yeah.
And then the trade through was lovely from nobody. Simon again, pulling up multiple kills in the round. And Chichu, lovely to close.
Round 24, it's do or die, OT. Will knock down to the lower section of your group. And ults are now online here for G2. Crewed up, built up, mosh pit. Exchange, a bit of a handshake occurring out towards
through the teleport
TP,
with the Raze ult.
Raze ult, it's here, it's earned, and now is the time to strike. Kangkang right there forwards. He's already taken that timing, and now you might have some difficulties even getting the value, but now tucked to the corner. Expecting that nobody was going to be placed there.
And that's the spike. They've got to be aware of this timing that Chishu could have taken. Valen, IC, they know this is a possibility.
In through Lambs! Head ripped clean off Simon and Smoggy.
Launching smoke.
Last two to remain, but they're up versus 4. And it's to stay alive in the series.
Smoke's down.
What can they truly, really do? A tap. Trying to bait out some presence from G2. Baiting out a response. They don't take it. They let them stew. And the plant is down. Smoke in the face of IC. A bit of spam. Spraying away, hoping for it. Jonah P. Right from behind now, Trailblazer out and away, only the one contact. Jiggle Speak is good here. Sees a little bit better, and a fight taken, squared up to Simon. He wins it. Win cons potentially there, but the position is so damn obvious. EDG would need a miracle. They need it now. Smoggy to deliver, potentially no. G2 deny it all.
G2, what a performance, what a comeback. Amazing game that fits the script of how they've been playing every BO3 for the last 3 months. You just do not beat them in these Mat 3 situations. A valiant effort, a great try from EDG. But theirs is not the glory today. Every single #1 seed has lost in groups.
G2, they rise up to the occasion. Don't get me wrong. Tested, pushed to the brink. Well, it could have got closer if we went to OT, but 13-11, you have to take that at the end of the day. A 2-1 scoreline all the way. G2 have earned that spot now. Moving forward into the playoffs. And maybe, just maybe, It's their time to shine, going from strength to strength.
I think you've got to be paying attention to this team. Coming out of a group that has PAPERX in it, EDG in it, teams that are playing pretty... I mean, EDG are playing pretty hot right now. PAPERX have done huge things in the past, and G2 come out through it looking fairly clean. This definitely pushed them much more than the previous one, but it showed that same tenacity, that same barking dog spirit that they've got in them.
That resilience, right?
Yeah, to get past the difficult times and push forwards.
It's just there for them.
And again, I think with all of these #1 seeds taking L's in the groups, win streaks of teams like Fnatic and expectations for teams like Gen G being wobbled a little bit, the time is right for somebody like G2 to step up and have a big performance. They're going to get their shot in playoffs.
Exactly. Already setting themselves up for success, just getting through this match. Battle worn and tested.
And another potential matchup that might face EDG. If PAPERX are able to get through their game against Foot, EDG PAPERX, you can't get past it. I mean, it is inevitable.
It feels inevitable at this point. My God, this is explosive. Beginning to end. These teams are pushing each other. G2 just barely able to grasp it.
What a performance as well from Icy.
Yeah. With that said, let's send it down to the stage for the Verizon post-match interview. I believe if Leaf is standing by.
Hello, it's time again for the post-match interviews, and I'm joined by G2's Leaf. GG, Leaf.
Good game.
What a game, close game too. 네, G2의 리프 선수 만나보겠습니다. 원했던 EDG를 상대로 오늘 결국에 플레이오프 선출권을 드디어 가져갔습니다. 쉽지 않은 경기였던 만큼 이제 뭔가 중국의 #1 시드 EDG를 만나본 오늘 경기 소감부터 들어보도록 하겠습니다. You made it to the playoffs. Tough start, rocky start, but you came through and got a win against China's #1 seed EDG. What are your thoughts on the game today?
I think that there were some issues that we had that I can't really say, but I think that, you know, there were some problems in the beginning and we started a little rocky, and then Haven, even then we had to come back, and then on Bind we were in such a good lead, but I think they played very well, and I think that, I mean, I think we showed a lot of resilience in, you know, the adversity and stuff like that. So I'm just really proud of how the game went, to be honest, because we closed it out. We didn't choke, so it feels good.
이제 초반에 좀 이슈가 있었지만 얘기를 할 수는 없지만 이제 초반에 조금 그런 실수들이랑 이런 걸 만회하고 이제 헤이븐과 그 다음에 바인드에서 우리 팀이 이런 팀이다라고 컴백을 잘 보여준 것 같아서 오늘 경기 결과가 만족스럽다고 하네요. 그리고 말 나온 김에 헤이븐 후반부터 이렇게 좀 다시 컴백을 하면서 G2가 승리를 가져가게 됐잖아요. 좀 어떤 이유나 전략의 변화를 줬길래 이런 컴백이 가능했던 건지 좀 궁금합니다. Speaking of like the changes and coming back mid-Haven, what changes made that possible for you guys to like bounce right back?
I think just discipline and also just like realizing their win condition. You know, we played a very out of the ordinary comp on Haven, and there's some problems that we, you know, like there's some problems on that map in general. Like I feel like the fact that like teams are known for rushing a bomb site every single round and just, you know, winning a game is kind of crazy, but I think we just fixed the mistakes and just held our nerve a little bit, and it just made it pretty easy.
이제 좀 헤이븐의 우리 팀의 좀 문제점을 좀 잘 파악을 하고, 그리고 원래 뭐 헤이븐의 좀 독특한 오늘 조합을 갖고 나왔기 때문에 뭐 맵의 그런 좀 특유의 특징들도 있었고, 이모저모 어떻게 좀 다양한 접근법으로 전략을 좀 다양하게 해서 우리가 컴백을 성공한 것 같다라고 이야기를 하네요. 그리고 이제 플레이오프에 선 진출을 하게 되면서 조금의 여유가 생겼습니다. 이제 플레이오프에서 다음에 만나고 싶은 팀 또는 그리고 뭐 어떻게 좀 준비를 할 건지도 좀 들어봐야 되겠습니다. You have a little bit of a break until the playoffs. Which team do you want to meet? And also, how are you going to prepare for that? If not, if you don't want to mention that, you can just say, oh, I would like to do something.
I mean, we're going to have to see who comes out of, you know, like second seed in every single group. I'd really like to not play an NA matchup, to be honest, because I just feel like domestic is just not as fun as playing international.
Right.
you know, in general for playoffs, I know we can't play them first round, but like Trace would be super cool. I think they're showing a lot of creative stuff. And then I think DRX would just be cool just because of like being in Korea. And I haven't played against those guys in a long time. Obviously they changed rosters since I played them back on C9 in lock-in. But I think it'd just be fun to have that like kind of rematch.
이제 좀 아무래도 원래 아메리카스 출신에서는 만난 팀들은 다시 안 만났으면 좋겠고, 그리고 트레이스도 오늘 되게 창의적인 플레이를 많이 보여줬기 때문에 좀 재밌을 것 같고, 그리고 홈그라운드인 DRX 팀 로스터를 변경하고 나서 킥오프 뭐 그때 락인 이후에는 만난 적이 없기 때문에 그 경기도 되게 기대된다고 합니다. G2의 리프 선수의 인터뷰 만나봤습니다. Congratulations again for your win, Lee. Thank you for the interview.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow with more VALORANT action. Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, man, it's a late time here in Seoul, South Korea. Let me see. 11:24. Santissimo. All right, I am joined by Icy. My brother, congratulations. That was a slugfest, huh?
Yeah, it was quite a series. The last two maps, like,
yeah,
all rounds, all 24.
Yeah, were you, I mean, look, we know EDG is a phenomenal team, right? So you guys were very much aware of that going into it. But I guess, you know, mentality with the team, like, were you guys just very gung-ho? Because I know you guys, like, have a more of a cautious optimism at times, having known you for a little while now. Yeah. Or were you guys like, okay, let's just take it one round at a time? Or were you like, no, we're going to win this?
I mean, we wanted to always like stay confident, but just make sure it's not like too overconfident to where we're over peaking. So just making sure we're like staying disciplined, just playing our game plan out, and it worked out.
No, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, I want to know, it's like your first time going up against EDG. What did that feel like? What was that team like to go up against? I mean, everybody knows they're kind of crazy. You know, the China region in general is well known for being a little bit unorthodox, let's say. How did it feel playing against them like live on the server?
I mean, they played a really good game. Their icebox looked really solid. All the rounds were like really close. Yeah, I mean, like we've scrimmed other teams as well. We scrimmed them in Shanghai. We scrimmed them, and we also scrimmed Trace. And like I kind of knew Trace were going to be demons going into this.
Oh, so
like,
you had the intel.
Yeah, we knew they were doing really well against us in scrim. So.
Damn. Okay, I got to show you the pick'ems in a little bit because you're going to be blown away by what the community rated Trace at. It's pretty mind blowing. But I mean, you were absolutely electric. And look, I know we've always had you even yourself have talked about it just being fitting more into the G2 system, right? This and whatever, blah blah blah. But nah, you were cooking this game. You felt great. Do you feel like you're getting that mojo? You feel like you're getting that energy up because it's showing in your gameplay?
Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better. Like start of the season, I was not playing as confident. So now I'm just going into these games just feeling so confident.
Was it because of the fact that you were like coming in and there was a lot of expectations, or
I think a lot of it was like me like kind of not going for the plays I like used to go for. You know, I'm in a better system that I've never been in. You know, Josh is a really good coach. He's just like teaching me to be disciplined, don't go for too much.
Yeah.
And as a duelist, it's kind of hard to find the perfect in between, you know?
For sure, for sure. Hey, no doubt. Hey, do what brought you to the dance, though. Okay? Always remember that. Always remember that.
What about for you guys for this event? Like going from Shanghai to coming pretty close. You know, you guys had a great tournament. Your run came short there in the lower finals. What do you think it's going to take for you guys to, you know, get over that hump, get to the grand finals, maybe lift a trophy? Like, what's going to be the difference between then and now?
I think in Shanghai, you know, like every team like needs a losing experience. You can't just win every game. So I think those losses in Shanghai are building us into a better team. And we learned a lot from that. And I think going into this tournament, we know what to improve on. And like we've been improving on it already. Yeah. So we know these things and we know to, you know, just keep looking forward to these next games.
Yeah. Sure. Now, Paperton did have a round that he wanted to show you just simply because you guys were just so coordinated. And it's always a testament to what you always do. But, I mean, go ahead and run through it.
Yeah. So this is round 7. And it's a really cool, like, way you guys set up the post plant. You get the Viper's Pit down. You do all these awesome things to get yourself into a really favorable situation. I want you to walk us through this. If you remember.
I'm looking up.
Yeah, let's see. All right.
So you get naded out of the corner. Yeah, with the C's there. Great movement.
Yeah, it was like delayed timing on that. That was kind of got me off guard.
Yeah. And then they nightfall you too.
Oh, this is the round I got fade ulted, and there was a mosh in U-Hole. So we were thrashing through U-Hole, I think. Yeah. I just ran through the mosh, but I think my team got me, you know.
Yeah, they
I
had
was trying to capitalize off the second thrash usage.
Yeah, they definitely had your back on that
That
one.
was a really good post plan from us, you know, just close it out. Only me dying.
How much are you putting it? Because it seems like these post plans are very well coordinated, very well rehearsed. But how are you dealing when things don't go according to plan?
I mean, like, it's hard to say. Like, we were like down big on Icebox, and you know, we were just kind of just making sure that we're sticking to our game plan, keeping the same confidence. Like, even if we're losing, you know, just to keep the same game plans, just make sure we're, you know, playing the same game that we always play in our like scrims and practice.
I mean, I saw the Icebox and I'm like, I don't know, this looks good, you know, but seems like EDG did a lot of homework on you guys' Icebox, and now you guys got some stuff that you got to work on, I think, moving forward. I want to also show you the pick'ems powered by AWS here, because Trace had a 10% chance of qualifying.
That is crazy.
We can see on the other side, I mean, your group was, which I think a lot of us have really deemed the real group of death, is Group D, because it was always going to be a challenge there. But you had mentioned Trace before. What was it about that team that you knew they were going to be demons coming?
I mean, they just have insane aim, I swear. Like, when we were scrimming them, we were just really caught off guard.
Yeah,
and,
really.
You know, like, I was not surprised when I saw them qualifying for champs. And these wins, you know, like, they're really good teams that they're playing against.
Yeah, but are you surprised that they did it against Aspas and Leviathan?
I think that's pretty surprising. You know, Lev beat us in the grand finals. They're looking good there.
Yeah.
And
to give you a little pause at all, you know, you're like, oh, they beat them.
Yeah,
oh, boy.
that's kind of crazy. We were kind of mind blown before this game. You know, watching the game.
I can imagine Val and just be like, yo, man, that's crazy. You know, that's wild. All right, well, we've been doing a bingo all day of things that would happen throughout the day. You know, bingo is the thing that us old people do. And we have one final thing to cross off, because, my friend, you gave us bingo with the G2 win. Look at you. So not only you win, and we get the horn.
Yeah.
So we get the bingo. Mission accomplished. What do you win at home? Nothing.
Entertainment.
But entertainment value.
Yes.
Icy, you could say congratulations, and we can maybe use that. So go for it.
Congrats if you won your bingo card.
There you go. There you go. That's all you got. Oh, man. All right. Well, let's take a look at the bracket and where we are right now in this competition with Day 6 of Champions coming to an end. We now have our first 4 teams locked in. Does anything here outside of Trace, because we already covered that, but, you know, for Heretics, DRX, like, does that any of these results kind of shock you so far?
I think the games yesterday, Fnatic, DRX, you know, DRX and Heretics going through is pretty crazy to me. You know, they were underdogs in both those games, but I think those games could have gone either way. So.
Yeah, absolutely. No, sure. Who do you think's coming out of this group? PRX, EDG, or Foot? Who do you think?
I would say EDG based off the games that we played.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's
they were
fair.
nuts.
Yeah, they you know, played you guys close. You know, a difficult game for sure. But now you're going to get a little bit of a break. I believe, like a couple days, right? Are you going to try and enjoy Seoul a little bit, or is it work?
I think we're going to do some exploring probably. Maybe we'll check out some new food spots. You know, my girlfriend's also coming in town.
Okay.
So
nice.
Okay. The other G2 girlfriends are coming.
Oh, really? Okay, well, you got to make sure you hang out with them. All right, because my wife was going to come and she was like, nah, you're working like 80 hours a day. So
there's a great river down by City Hall that you got to go to. Great date spot.
See, we're trying to hook them up over here. You know what I mean? We got the boys covered. Hey, Icy, congratulations, man. Always a pleasure to talk to you. It's late. It's way too late. It's 11:30 at night, and I'm way past my bedtime here. So I'm going to need to go to sleep now. But coming up tomorrow, we got some excellent matches. We have Sentinels versus FPX, BLG versus Crew. Icy, you want to give us a little analytical prediction? Who do you think's going to win each series?
I will be watching those from my room, just enjoying. Bucket of popcorn, maybe. I think that's really close.
Yeah.
I think Sen could take the first game, and then probably Crew looking good.
Yeah. I mean, look, FPX are a scary squad. They could easily turn at the drop of a hat. It's going to be quite exciting. But that means for you wonderful people at home, there's plenty more to watch tomorrow. You got excellent games across the board, and thankfully for guys like Icy, they get a little bit of a break for the time being. But that's going to do it for us here today. We thank you so much for tuning in to Seoul Champions. As always, we'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place, for 2 more excellent matches. We thank you so much for joining us today. See you then. It's the ambitious upstarts from China versus the world beaters from the Americas region. You got Trace Esports, Leviathan. You heard Hebe say he's playing up against his idol in Aspas. But today you got to put all of that to the side. It's game time, and you got to put up or shut up.
And Hebe will be there to capitalize if they do. In fact, Annihilation is used, and it's caught one. That's the spike. They have to break Tex out, and he's gone when he comes out the other side. Kong left with it all to do, and he's shut down. What a round from Hebe!
There needs to be an immediate shot connected, which there is. One goes their way, it's all up to King, and he gets all three! The thing is, the trip's still online, and in fact, he's gonna die here. Surely he's gonna die! Well, if you weren't familiar with Trace's game after their first match, I bet you are now.
They know Fung Fung's going to the back of the site, and the flash is good. Comp trading it out, looking for more, finding it!
Let's go. Gonna try again. This time he's caught, but so is Lord King as well.
Up rotate, checking the wrong angle as well. They know exactly where the last man is, but he gets the jump again. The defuse isn't underway, tries to stop it from getting the half. And while doing so, takes his 4th kill, 13-9. It's not over yet for the Leviathan fans. He's been good on the headshots, and he's good again! The double up! Yankee tries to pull this back, put the pressure on, try to split them in two, and that's exactly what they've done. The jump up from Aspas, it's already halved, and a double swing to close it. It got way too close, but the recovery is there.
It was immediately broken, but it doesn't seem to matter. The time now starting to tick. Many problems. The first shot connected. They need a little more, and he's gonna get it as well. Leviathan needed a hero, and it seems like it's all over. Gets that first spot, but now they know exactly where he is. They're gonna try and play this, and they almost line up, but almost doesn't win anything. There was a man who said that Americas would never be beaten by China. It's time to take a seat.
The question on everyone's mind is, can Kong Kong and EDG manage to pull one through and dethrone and take the G2 boys off their pedestal here?
Well, I can hit a footsteps, lovely sidestep.
This G2 team that's normally so good at shutting down stars, they just cannot steal.
I mean, cheeky. He's right in their face, they're flashing an overhead. Simon is swinging wildly into them and still returns with 2. He's to try and isolate some of these fights. Done so, 1v1, all to survive, I see. Let's go. Well, might be a bit of that false information. Oh, underhanded Simon. Let's come up with the one. Is he going to be into his space as well? Plenty of targets up and over. Jonah P. Ready and waiting. Trent is spotted. Taken out. Swinging wide. Simon denies, but not enough. 13-8 for the finish. EDG. They get it over that finish line. An icebox is theirs. Recon going to be broken, still lighting them up enough, and the crossfire setups are definitely enough. G2 didn't budge, didn't get rooted away from this spot. Trent delivers a 4-piece, spraying away in rough positions of these players as well. Jonah P up onto the high ground, not enough to collect it, drop down, it's straight down. Let's go! Lambot triggers, Jonah P defusing half onto the board. This is for the map. Someone needs to stop this, someone needs to stop this, but no one is there. G2 right from beneath them. They steal the map away. 12 seconds left. It's all toppling now, and Valorant needs to be held all the way through. It's the last one left. Swung through and out, through the wall.
Sit down, boy. Let's go.
There was that punish in sight. Thrash through and out, detained. Even now Simon, he's pulled it back out of nowhere. Not offered much in terms of opportunities. Spraying right through the wall. Simon finishes it with the secondary shorty. EDG would need a miracle. They need it now. Smoking to deliver, potentially. No! G2 deny it all.
G2, what a performance, what a comeback. Amazing game that fits the script of how they've been playing every BO3 for the last 3 months.
We always take the hardest road. FPX, haven't played you guys yet, but I'm excited to. You guys play some wonky comps. We're in elimination. All we got to do is come out and play the game. I'll stand up a little bit more, you know, get the crowd involved, maybe get them going. It's my haters and doubters. We're going to keep playing whether you hate me or love me, and I'm still getting paid.
Did you get that?
So, I'll see you when we win.